Hey everyone, it's me, Jared Hug, and welcome to Hug the Chefs. So today what we're going to do is we're going to be making a really creamy, wonderful mac and cheese. You know, this isn't really like your grandma's kind of baked mac and cheese. This is a whole different level. And because I love ham and bacon and everything, we're going to add some smoked Canadian bacon to it. So to go over our ingredients, what we got here is a local Boxcar campo cheese, which is kind of like a softer, smoky cheese. We've got kind of like a cheese powder, because I like how it binds everything together. We got our pasta. We've got whole milk, because 1% milk is for pussies. No. And we've got our heavy cream. So that pretty much wraps up the ingredients. Let's get cooking. Okay, so you know, I did choose to use orecchiette this time. You know, it's a little bit different than mac and cheese. I like how the sauce will actually coat the noodle. You know, it is Barilla. You can find this at almost any grocery store. But you know, it's gonna give you a lot better flavor, and like I said, you're gonna get more sauce around the actual noodle. All right, everybody, so the pasta's cooked now. I took about 8 minutes. I like my pasta kind of al dente. So for about a pound of pasta, you're gonna need about a cup of milk. You're gonna need about a tablespoon of the cheese powder. You can add a little more depending on your flavor. And then you're gonna need about another pound of cheese. I like my pasta really, really cheesy, kind of like my jokes. So, you know, obviously you can add less and more depending on your budget or depending on what kind of flavor profile you want. One thing I do like to do is after the pasta's cooked, add a little oil to it, kind of lets everything bind to it. All right, now we're gonna add in our cheese powder. Go ahead and stir all that up. Kind of get the cheese powder working around. And then we're gonna add our milk. You know, you're gonna let the pasta cook a little with the milk. Just so you get the milk hot, so that when you drop in your cheese, it just melts right away. At this point, you know, if you have ham and you want to add your ham, go ahead and add your ham. It doesn't really matter when you add your ham, but alrighty, stir that all in, get that flavor around with the noodles. Okay, so now that the ham is in, we're gonna add about a half a cup of heavy cream. And something that I really like to do that's kind of old school is take some of the water that the pasta was cooked in and add it into your sauce. What this is going to do is help thicken it up, plus all that flavor that was boiled into the water is now going to be boiled into your sauce. Look at it, you see, it's kind of getting creamy. Everybody can see that. All right, and now it is time for the cheese. Look at that delicious cheese. So just to tell everybody a little bit about this cheese, so it's a wash rind cheese, which means that they have the cheese and then they basically wash the outside of it, and that creates kind of like a film on the outside, which then molds. And then they smoke this cheese. They do a cold smoke, so they don't heat the actual cheese up, but they smoke it while it's still cold. And this just gives it an awesome, awesome flavor. You know, this is going to be more of a little bit of a smoky mac and cheese. Make sure you turn your heat back on so that you're actually melting the cheese in. That's what you want it to do. You don't, you know, you want it to be creamy here. You don't want it to be just big globs of cheese. Now, you know, as you're cooking your pasta and as you're watching your pasta, you can add any of those ingredients you want to make it creamier, make it thicker, make it, you know, it's really up to your personal preference. Like I said, like mine personally, pretty creamy, but also really cheesy. You know, and something I didn't mention a minute ago, so that cheese is made by a local company called Boxcar, and it's called campo cheese. This cheese can actually be found, there'll be a link at the end of our video to find this cheese on Southern Foods, who is working with us to get it out to your house. It's a wonderful cheese, and it's almost, I think it was rated one of the best cheeses for mac and cheese. So go ahead and go get it. All right, so, you know, I've been cooking this for about 5 minutes. You guys can see how creamy it is. I will say that I did have to add about another, you know, this is 24 ounces of pasta. but I did have to add about another cup of milk just to keep it super creamy and get all that cheese melted down. You know, obviously you're gonna keep cooking it, so a lot of that stuff will evaporate, and you want to, so you can get the creaminess level you desire. But make sure you add salt and some pepper, and you know, taste as you go, so that way you can figure out kind of what flavor profile you really want for it. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. This is our wonderful, delicious mac and cheese. I can't wait for everybody to make it at home. And you know, thanks for joining us again. This is Hug the Chef, and I'm Jared, and I'm out.